Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Sociastrology. Today I wanted to dive into a very special day this month. July 8th has some really beautiful transits going on, and so I wanted to bring them to your attention so that you're able to utilize them to the best of your ability. And yeah, if you do appreciate this content, then please do give it a thumbs up, subscribe, stick around, join this new little community of ours. And yeah, if you want to share your insights or your experiences with this transit, then I would love to have a conversation in the comments. But without further ado, let us dive into the chart for July 8th, 2024. Okay, so we have the 8th here. I have this set for noon in Tulsa, but these houses will obviously shift throughout the day and they will change based on where you are as well. I mostly wanted to hit on some of the big points that we're going to be dealing with today. There's a lot of transits. There's a lot going on during this day, and one of the things that I'm seeing when I look at it is a potential to be a little bit concerned about actually pursuing all of the potential. So there's a bit of, I see a fear to take advantage of it. So I want to point that out and then also really reiterate the positive points of this and encourage you to take advantage of them and how you might do that. So let's go through these aspects one by one, all of them that are going to be occurring today, and then I will point out also the ones that are perfecting today. So we do have a perfecting square between the moon and Mars today. It'll be a little bit later than noon my time. And that's a little bit of what I do feel might be holding us back is an internal potential resistance to really pushing for whatever it is that's kind of bubbling up inside of you that you're wanting to pursue during this day with the energies that I'll point out here. This is it should be that you're able to push through this with this aspect, but one thing is with Mars in Taurus and the moon in Leo, I'm wondering a little bit about whether there's going to be a nervousness about whether something can be seen through all the way or whether there's going to be actual rewards for it. There's just this kind of internal slight resistance to taking advantage of the energy. So this is a strong face your fears aspect that's going on. And it might not be asking you to do that, but I'm asking you to do that for the sake of the other energies that we have available. The moon will also be squaring Uranus today, but that aspect will not perfect until about midnight tomorrow. This could also lead to a bit of anxiety about what actions you're taking. I'm hoping that this could play out for you. You know how sometimes you can have a feeling that could go either toward excitement or toward anxiety. I would really lean in hard on any aspect of that that you can drive toward excitement rather than anxiety, because this is something that could be felt either way without a doubt. We also do have an inconjunct, a quincunx aspect here between Saturn and the moon. Again, a bit of a resistant energy. This could also be a feeling of kind of wanting to break free, being really uncomfortable with being bogged down by anything or being held back by anything. That you should lean into without a doubt during this day. It's just the only way that we should really be utilizing Saturn today is to keep ourselves in check in terms of primarily the way that we go about getting what we want. We don't want to trample on others, and that's the biggest thing. As long as we can avoid that, then there's a lot to take advantage of today. We also have the sun is sextile to Mars here. So Mars in Taurus with Sun in Cancer, that won't be perfecting today, but the energy is available. There should be just almost an inexhaustible amount of energy available to you today if you're doing things that you are remotely interested. If you're not, then I could see that sapping your energy a bit. So I know that today is going to be today the 8th, which I'm not recording this on. This day is going to be a Monday, but anything that you can do to kind of lighten things up, even if you are having to work and push through any sort of kind of detailed mundane tasks, you should have some energy available for that as long as you're not too focused on the fact that you really don't want to be doing it with that quincunx between the moon and Saturn on this day. We also have the sun trine to Saturn. This is also applying, but it will not perfect today. It's going to perfect probably a couple days from now. And this is also really helpful for getting things done that you're needing to get done. So if you're able to kind of go with the flow on whatever your obligations are, that will, I think, help you with the kind of discomfort of there's something else that's exciting that you really want to be doing that you're a little bit afraid of and you feel a little bit held back from. Try and make time for it outside of the context of your obligations during this day. I would say that today is a day where extending your day a bit, even if you have to work the next day, would be worth it in terms of being able to take advantage of the energies if you do have obligations that you have to take care of otherwise. Um, we also have, see, so coming into our perfecting really excellent energy transits today, we have the moon exactly sextile to Jupiter, which it's ruling because Jupiter is in Gemini at this time. Again, this should lend itself to a lot of open-mindedness, a lot of cooperative energy. If you are needing to ask for something, ask for a favor, ask for, if you're wanting to ask for a promotion or a raise or something like this, and you're feeling a little bit of nervousness about it, as long as you are really highly diplomatic about it, this would be a really excellent day where you might get an answer that really surprises you. Jupiter can convey a lot of beneficence to communication that is genuine, that is based on good information. Obviously, if you know that there's somehow not going to be a way for you to get this, then there might be a bit of like, well, why would you ask if you know that X, Y, and Z is going on? But if it's a possibility and you're just a little bit nervous about asking for it, I would really go for it on this day because there's a lot of grace given. There's a lot of space held for open communication and genuine, honest communication. There's also perfecting today. Mercury is sextile and trine to the nodes. I'm actually going to put on aspect to the nodes because I want to point out a broader pattern here that we're going to look at. It's kind of a lot now, but we'll see. So we also have the sextile from Mercury to the south node, and we have a trine, if I can follow this line, out to the north node. And this is also going to be perfecting today. This is part of the reason why I'm saying if there's anything that you're really wanting to go for, that you really feel is aligned with you, but you're just a little bit nervous about it, this is the perfect time to do that. If there's something that you really feel would help you out, would get you on track, would lead you in the right direction. It's almost like you have the answers here, but you're a little bit afraid to pursue what the answer is. So if the answer is asking for some communication dynamic to change within a relationship, or some work relationship that you're having that you feel like you're not quite compensated correctly, and that the whole situation would just be much more of a win-win if you were compensated correctly, then this would be something to really go for today. So what I wanted to point out as the broader pattern here is, of course, we have these two are exact, and we have them both exact with both of the nodes. So the nodes are always on an axis. If they create a flowing aspect to a planet, one of them does, then it creates the same kind of aspect on the other side. So we have, it's kind of a bit of a bowl pattern, but I don't have node to node aspects on, so you don't see the opposition here. But so we have the sextile to Mercury. Mercury is sextile to Jupiter. Jupiter is sextile to the node. And then this node is trine to Mercury, while this node is trine to Jupiter. So there's a huge window of opportunity that is full on open right now. All you have to do is communicate. So you have to ask for what it is that you're wanting. You're having to ask for what it is that you're really wanting for this window of opportunity to be. Keeping in mind, when you're working with the nodes, you're really going to want to be pursuing something that's genuinely good for you, that's genuinely for your best and highest good, to, lack a non-cliched term to apply to that. So we have all of this really beautiful energy just begging for you to ask for what you're wanting here. We also have perfecting today another really awesome aspect, which is the sextile between Venus in Cancer and Uranus in Taurus here. So this is going to lend itself to really pleasant surprises. This is part of why I was saying earlier, you might be surprised with the answer. It's almost like this energy archetypally is like someone where you are surprised that they like you. You find out, oh, that person had a lot of respect for me and liked me. I would have never really expected that they had even considered me. That's what this energy is. It's very pleasant surprises. It can also lend itself to these kind of pangs of excitement and joy that could go toward anxiety or could go toward excitement. That excitement is really bound up in this. This is why I'm saying really lean into that excitement, because it could kind of take you to higher levels of that if you just allow yourself to lean into it. It's really, really beautiful. A lot of potential breakthrough in relationship energy here. So again, if there's anything that you're needing to communicate in your relationships, today would be a perfect day to do that. Don't hide from this. Don't fear communicating this. But like I said, with this kind of connection between the moon and Saturn and Mars and Uranus here, just make sure that you're not trampling. Be very wise with your words today, and you can get win-win outcomes all over the place, basically, almost in any regard within your life. So, what else do I have to say about Uranus? Venus, this could also lend itself to new experiences that are really exciting and enjoyable. So, you know, all of the all the things. If you haven't tried a sport, if you haven't watched a show, if you haven't watched a movie, novelty is really going to pay off in terms of unexpected pleasures that you didn't know about before, because it's something that's novel. So trying something new is really, really favored today, and you should have an open enough mind to do so with this Mercury Jupiter aspect as well that's concurrent. We also have a really nice aspect here, not perfecting today, but it's present, this trine from Venus in Cancer to Neptune in Pisces here. This is a really dreamy, lighthearted, compassionate, wonderful energy for, again, pleasures, creative pursuits, for relating to people in a really compassionate and supportive way. You should be able to, again, any sort of novelties. Pisces is also going to be really open to that. So there's going to be an enjoyment of that. And again, probably on a level that you're really not expecting. Like you could find your favorite thing basically with this kind of energy. It's like I had no idea that I would remotely like something like this. And here it is, and this is my new favorite thing, you know. Um, we do also have, not perfecting today again, but present, an opposition between Venus and Pluto. So again, any sort of things that you've not been saying within the context of relationships, it's really good to get it out in the open right now, but simultaneously make sure you're not trampling on other people's feelings. That's really the only caution here, and also not taking advantage of the energy out of anxiety. So if there's a dynamic in a relationship that's making you uncomfortable, anything like that, any sort of psychological hangups that you personally have or that you're seeing that other people have within the context of their relationships, that is really easy to address today. And it's the perfect opportunity to address something that's usually not super easy to discuss. Anything that's been hidden, one, it might kind of come to light during this time, but really it's just anything that needs to be communicated, get it out there, you know, but not forcefully, you know. Just address it. It should go a lot better than you're expecting. We also have, not perfecting today. This one I think is going to perfect on the 15th. We'll address it shortly in a different episode. I'm going to devote to this perfecting aspect transit. We have Mars coming into a conjunction with Uranus. This is big surprises. This is really kind of explosive energy. It's not perfecting today while we have all of these other beautiful energies a lot stronger, but it is still present here. It was present during the new moon. It's kind of just in the background there. So if there's so much energy for resolving anything that this day in particular, I'm kind of not seeing too much potential for this to show up as something that could be harmful in a way that isn't ultimately helpful. If you address something with someone and they just go off, that's all the answer you need. You know, you need to work on trying to remove that energy from your life, you know. If it's just that they are maybe hypersensitive, maybe don't approach someone about a relationship issue when they just walk in the door, you know. If you're keeping all of that in mind and they're just being irrational, because this energy can really heighten irrationalities that are already there, this will give you the picture that you need. That's also another reason why it's good to address these things when most of the energy should be really lending itself to it going really like swimmingly perfectly good, much better than you expected. Because if with a specific individual or specific situation, it's really not, then you know it's not a weird timing thing. It's not a weird, you know, moon phase thing. An inherent problem within the relationship, you know. So that is there. This can also lend itself to excitement slash anxiety. Try and lean into the excitement. Don't do anything too risky. I would say that sports should be fine, but really just, you know, as long as this is going, which is pretty much for the rest of the month. I remember I told my mom a few days ago, this is be careful July. Just the whole month, just be careful, you know. Um, Watch out for um, traffic situations. I paused there because I was really recognizing. I do want to point out in a few days when this Venus to Neptune perfects, but also starting now, definitely be careful with daydreaming when you're doing something that could potentially, if it went super wrong, if, Murphy's Law were in play, could be quite dangerous, because this could play itself out as a Murphy's Law situation. So as long as you're making sure that there are aspects of it, for instance, you behind the wheel, very much paying attention, not daydreaming, then you are an anti Murphy's Law factor within the situation. It's like, as long as you're paying attention, then clearly there's something that's not going wrong there. And you should be able to avoid any negative situations. It's mostly if we're just kind of going headlong into things and not paying attention and not thinking about potential consequences that this could be uh, a, an issue. So keeping in mind this is still here for a while, it's not this isn't an inherently bad thing. Like I said, it's also that excitement. This would also lend itself to novelty and to enjoying those new things and everything. It's just that when you get in the mix, people who are, like I said, kind of already irrational, that's where this can kind of go wrong. So also watch out for, your own quote unquote irrational moments of, say, daydreaming when you are um, frying something or driving or whatever could be dangerous, playing a sport if you're not paying attention and you run into something or whatnot. So it's, as long as the mind is clear, this should be fine and it should just be good. Uh, we do also have Uranus is making a few other interesting aspects currently. So it is sextile to Neptune. I'm going to do a whole episode about something that I want to point out really quick right now is we're coming into a time where we're going to have a really close configuration between the three outer planets that I am finding so fascinating. The first episode that we did on this channel was about this sextile here, which is going to keep building over the coming decade. Um, it'll keep playing out over the coming decade. It'll keep building over the coming like 4 years. I think it's going to be 3-4 years. It's going to be perfecting. Uranus, as this is happening when Neptune moves into the new sign and Uranus moves into this new sign, they'll all be in quote unquote masculine or active signs, and they'll all be right in the first degrees. It's going to be very fascinating. But yeah, it'll be a trine from Uranus to Pluto, a sextile from Uranus to Neptune, and a sextile from Neptune to Pluto. So I'll be covering that in depth shortly. But that is something that we're going to have present pretty much for several years, and so it's just always going to be there. It is really interesting, though. Again, this is breakthrough energy with the trine to Pluto from Uranus here. Doesn't have to be good, doesn't have to be bad. Probably will be very much both, but there's like a gateway here, and it's a gate that's open for breakthroughs in so many different areas, especially psychological, especially we'll see this play out in the world as a lot of innovative inventions and things like that popping up, and a lot of that coming from you know people playing things out in their head, imagining things, and then coming up with brilliant ideas and so forth. This does all lend itself additionally, though, to a background energy of daydreaming, of kind of being in the depths of one's own thought in a wonderful way, but just careful, um, and not all the time, but just if there's something that's potentially dangerous going on. We also have, like I said, the nodes are opposite. So if you've got a flowing aspect, it's going to be on both sides, but Uranus has a minor challenging aspect in that it's making a semi-sextile to the north node, and it is making a sesqui square to the south node. So again, surprising things popping up here. Very interesting energy. This would lend itself probably to pleasant surprises given the energies, but things can pop up. And when things are popping up, because Uranus is aligned in this way, it's because it's trying to realign you with a different path. It's trying to bring you into the right direction, into even us collectively, into circumstances and situations and so forth where we are going to have to come to a lot of the same conclusions and get on the same page with each other for our collective growth as a species, you know. Um, that's about it. We do also have a square to, where is it? Yeah, I won't even worry about that. That's like minor stuff. The most important thing is that there's a lot of really beautiful, potentially novel, just unbelievably enjoyable energy that's available on this day. Really try and take advantage of it. Don't let fear, this is not a day for fear. It's a day for being mindful of what's going on around you, but also really enjoying the moment and trying something new, because probably you're going to be led intuitively with these energies toward things that are going to be a lasting joy for you and may even kind of alter your path, that can bring you to a new place where you meet a new person, that if you hadn't gone to that new spot and tried this new thing, you never would have met them, you never would have had that conversation that changed your perspective on something really important to you. So I would say during this day, get out there, try new things, go to places that you haven't been before, and really indulge in conversation with other people. You're going to get a lot of insight and really beautiful kind of interchange of, you know, vibes with people. I By the end of the day, if you are open during this day, you're going to be feeling like a really wonderful buzz. That's what this day is. So I wanted to make sure that we were able to take full advantage of all of that. So let me go back from the chart now. So that is what we've got for this upcoming July 8th. It should be quite pleasant. I'm going to try to enjoy it to the best of my ability. And yeah, again, if you enjoy this content, do stick around by subscribing. I would love to have you here, and I hope to see you in a future episode. Bye.